Good afternoon, Saturday, June 22nd. This is the Sunday Sims podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford. Welcome to episode 1 of the Sunday Sims. This is going to be a weekly look ahead to ATP, WTA tournaments. I'm going to be giving you full analytics-driven simulations of each and every tournament, each and every week. My goal for this is to kind of give a different look. You know, we see an abundance of analysis that looks at projected draws and, you know, what's it going to look like when every favored player, you know, makes it through to the quarterfinals. And we all know that that's not what happens. You know, every week we see results that kind of shock us. And I'm trying to account for some of those things. There's always going to be surprising results. So my goal is to kind of run one single simulation of each and every match, to kind of run through one single simulation of how each and every tournament could play out. So, you know, you've got a guy like Jannik Sinner. Maybe he gets matched up against a qualifier that's, you know, generally a challenger level player. Sinner's probably going to have, you know, 97, 98% chance to win. But, you know, we've seen the big upsets. We saw Luca Nardi take out Djokovic, I believe, at Indian Wells earlier in the year. These kind of things, they're shocking, but they do happen, and there's no analysis out there that accounts for them. So, you know, that's kind of going to be my take on this podcast, is just to try to see, you know, how things like that could shake up a tournament as it moves on down the line. And, you know, really just to have fun. As a kid growing up, you know, as a big sports video game guy, playing Madden, simulating through seasons, kind of seeing, oh, you know, look who's in the Super Bowl. That's really cool. And, you know, it's kind of the same idea here. Just to kind of have a fun look. I wouldn't consider these to be predictions of any kind. I wouldn't tell you to take these to the sports books and lay bets down on who's going to win the tournament. But, you know, it's just kind of fun. See who could win the tournament, see how it could play out. And, yeah, we'll go from there. So I will say we're going to be recording on Saturdays for the most part. I've got to give myself some time to edit and things before the tournaments get started. Some of these tournaments get started on Sunday. So most of the time I'll say, you know, the qualifiers are not going to be placed in these tournaments. So for simplicity's sake, I believe I'm just going to treat the qualifier spots as buys and move the players on. I kind of toyed with the idea of maybe giving a qualifier a 5 or 10% chance of moving on, but I just feel like it'll be much easier rather than having to explain every week, oh, you know, the qualifiers are going to have a 5% chance of moving on. I think it's just better we treat those qualifiers as buys. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me know here in the comments if you like that idea. If you have any suggestions for me, questions, comments. This is my first podcast ever. I've not done this before, so definitely would take any feedback that I can get from you guys. Let me know what you think. And, you know, seeing as we are brand new, anything you can do to help share this, you know, with your friends, share it on your social media channels would be greatly appreciated. Obviously, like, follow, subscribe, all of these things help. Anything we can do to grow this thing, that's my goal. So, and that's what we're going to do. And let's go ahead and get started with a look at this week's tournaments. We've got 2 ATP 250s, 2 WTA 500s. This is the last grass week before Wimbledon. So Wimbledon's going to wrap up the grass tournament. These are the last 4 smaller grass tournaments. ATP and WTA will both be playing in Eastbourne. If you look back last year, Francisco Cerundolo won Eastbourne in 2023 over Tommy Paul. And on the women's side, it was Madison Keys that won. And she'll be back at Eastbourne this year. And we've got an ATP draw in Mallorca, which was won by Christopher Eubanks last summer. Of course, he had a spectacular grass season. He beat Adrian Manarino, another guy that had a spectacular grass season in 2023. These guys have not been able to keep up that momentum here in 2024, but, you know, Wimbledon's next week. Still time to turn things around. And in Germany, Bad Homburg, we have Katerina Siniakova, who won last year. She beat Lucia Bronzetti there. So I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to tell you, as a brand new podcast, We don't yet have a sponsor for the program, so I'm going to go ahead and self-sponsor this for a while. The TennisTips.com is where you can find all of my tennis betting, player prop, and DFS advice in one spot. The Dub Club platform we're on makes it easy to get notified every time I post new tips. I leverage all of the same data and statistical modeling used for the Sunday Sims into making informed tennis bets and player prop picks. With the VIP All Access package, you'll get weekly outrights and futures bets, my daily moneyline best bets, player prop cards for sites like Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy, and a daily DFS Core 4 for those of you that play on DraftKings. Subscribe now at thetennisttips.com. Use promo code SundaySims for 20% off the VIP All Access package. Let's have some fun, win some money, and help support the Sunday Sims podcast at thetennisttips.com. All right, let's move on to our first tournament, our first ever sim here on the Sunday Sims. We're going to look at Eastbourne on the men's side, the 2024 Rothsay International. We got Taylor Fritz here as the number 1 seed. He'll get a bye into the second round. Thiago Seyboth-Wild will play a qualifier. In the Sims, of course, as I just said, we'll move him into the second round to take on Fritz. Cam Norrie will be taking on the Finn Emil Ruusuvuori. Tomas Martin Echeverry be taking on a qualifier. Alex Bublik, the 3rd seed, will get a bye. We have Dominic Kepfer playing Fabian Maroshin. The wild card Brit, Liam Brody, gets a qualifier, so he'll move on to the second round here. And then Francisco Cerundolo, of course, won the 2023, the 5th seed, will take on Marcos Giron. Looking at the bottom half, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, number 8 seed, taking on Lorenzo Sonego. We've got another qualifier here taking on Laszlo Djere. Kecmanovic will take on Zhizhen Zhang, and Sebastian Baez, the clay court specialist, will get a bye into the second round. And looking at the bottom quarter, Kai Nishikori making an appearance. This will be his first grass court match since 2021. He'll face Mariano Navone, who lost in straight sets to Draper last week. Arthur Rinderknech against Flavio Caboli. The 2 Brit wildcards get matched together. Billy Harris, of course, went to the quarterfinals in London this past week. He'll be playing Jacob Fernley, who was a college tennis player at TCU for the past few years. This will be his first ever ATP main draw match. He entered the Challenger tournament on grass in Nottingham just a couple weeks ago, and he won the whole damn thing. So this will be interesting. He looks to have a bright future. This will be his first match on his home soil. The winner of that match will get Tommy Paul, the number 2 seed, who gets a bye to the second round. Now, I would be surprised to see Tommy Paul here. I will admit, he's playing in the finals in London tomorrow. He's had a long week. Got Wimbledon on the horizon. A lot of times we see these guys back out at the last minute. So don't be surprised if this whole damn thing's blown up by the time, Monday morning rolls around. So yeah, let's go back to the top half and take a look at some results, our first results here. Taylor Fritz, of course, moving on to face Seyboth-Wild. Emil Ruusuvuori, the Finn, I've got him winning in straight sets here over Cam Norrie. The crowd would not be happy about that one, but Ruusuvuori, he made the semis in Den Bosch last summer. He had a really nice fall on hard courts. We haven't seen him much in 2024. I think he's been dealing with a back injury over the winter. He was dealing with that, so excited to kind of see him back here. And he'll face Tomas Martin Echeverry in the second round. Alex Bublik moves on. Of course, he had a bye into the second round as the 3rd seed. Fabian Maroshin gets by Dominic Kepfer in 3 sets. We got Liam Brody, of course, moving on over the qualifier, and Francisco Cerundolo, the number 5 seed and 2023 winner, moves on past Marcos Giron in 3 sets. Moving to the bottom half. Let's take a look at our first results here. We've got Alejandro Davidovich Fokina moving past Lorenzo Sonego in straight sets. Laszlo Djere moves on past the qualifier. Kecmanovic over Zhizhen Zhang in 3 sets. And Sebastian Baez, the number 4 seed, gets the bye to take on Kecmanovic in round number 2. Kai Nishikori, he gets by Mariano Navone here in straight sets. I think Navone, more of a clay courter, so that I don't think would surprise me too much. Arthur Rinderknech, who's had a really good season on clay courts and hard courts, he gets by Flavio Caboli in straight sets. Billy Harris wins the battle of the wild cards, taking out Jacob Fernley in 3 sets, and Billy Harris will take on Tommy Paul in the second round. Back to the top half we go. Taylor Fritz over Thiago Seyboth-Wild in 3 sets. Emil Ruusuvuori gets by Tomas Martin Etcheverry in 3 sets. Fabian Marochin over Alex Bublik in 3 sets. Bublik, I'm sure, lost his damn mind at some point in this simulated match, as he so often does. We've got Francisco Cerundolo, the 2023 winner, getting past Liam Brody in straight sets. Back to the bottom half we go. Davidovich Fokina moves on as the number 8 seed. He gets past Laszlo Djere in 3 sets. We've got Kecmanovic beating Sebastian Baez in 2 sets. You look at the number 4 seed of Baez, and you may think this is an upset, but Baez more of a clay court specialist in my eyes, so wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. Kai Nishikori would surprise me here, getting past Arthur Rinderknech in 3 sets. Nishikori's not looked like his old self. I think he had hip surgery that sidelined him for a year and a half, roughly. He just withdrew from Roland Garros last month with a shoulder injury. So, we never know how long it'll take these players to kind of get back to form. We saw it with Osaka. She kind of struggled for the first couple months of her comeback trail and, almost knocked Swiatek out of Roland Garros. So it happens. Nishikori into the quarterfinals here. And then Tommy Paul, the number 2 seed, unsurprisingly would beat Billy Harris here in straight sets. And back to the top half we go. Emil Ruusuvuori gets past Taylor Fritz. That would be a big surprise. That's probably the biggest surprise I've seen here in the draw. Straight sets over Fritz. Fabian Marochin over Francisco Cerundolo, the 2023 winner. Listen, Marochin just took Sinner to 3 sets in Halle. He made the round of 16 at Indian Wells. He was a quarterfinalist in Miami. And then clay court happened, and he's just not much of a clay courter. So getting back to non-clay courts, I think, is good for the Hungarian, and he makes the semifinals here. On the bottom half, Miomir Kecmanovic over Davidovich Fokina in straight sets, and Kai Nishikori over Tommy Paul in 3 sets. This is not the semifinal that I would have envisioned, but Cerundolo winning Eastbourne last year was probably not on anybody's radar. So you never know with this. Look at the semifinal here. Emil Ruusuvuori against Fabian Marochin and Miomir Kecmanovic against Kai Nishikori. What a semifinal that is. It's very interesting. So Kecmanovic and Nishikori, they have 1 game each head-to-head. Ruusuvuori and Marochin have never played each other, so let's see what happens here in the semis. We're going to go to a final of Fabian Marochin defeats Emil Ruusuvuori in 3 sets, 4-6, 6-3, 7-6, and Miomir Kecmanovic over Nishikori in 3 sets, 1-6, 6-4, 6-3. So Marochin against Kecmanovic in the final. Neither one of these guys are strong servers, which is kind of ironic here in a grass court final. But let's take a look here. First set will go to Kecmanovic, 6-3, takes set number 1. See if he can close it out. Set number 2 goes to Marochin, 6-3 in the second set. So we're going to go to a decider. And it looks like Marochin is going to be the winner here, 6-4. So 3 sets, 3-6, 6-3, 6-4 to the Hungarian Fabian Marochin. Congratulations, buddy. I do think this guy is going to be a pretty good player. He had a really, really good hardcourt season. Going over to Mallorca. Singles draw. Ben Shelton, the top seeds, he's going to get the bye to go to round 2 to face the winner Luca Nardi and Rinky Hijikata. We've got 2 qualifiers playing in the first round. Yannick Hanfman will be taking on Jordan Thompson, the number 7 seed. Second quarter will be Adrian Manarino, the number 3 seed, getting a bye Nuno Borges will take on Alex Michelsen. Bunch of clay quarters here in the bottom of the second quarter. Jamie Munar will take on Sebastian Offner, and Pedro Martinez taking on the number 5 seed Luciano Darderi. Looking at the bottom half, we've got Christopher Eubanks, the number 8 seed, taking on the youngster Jacob Mensik. Fabio Fognini gets a qualifier. Alexander Shevchenko gets a qualifier. And Alejandro Tobio, the number 4 seed, gets a bye. In the bottom quarter, Gael Monfils, the number 5 seed, will take on Dominic Thiem. This is a throwback match, if you can say. Both players were in the top 10 back in 2019, so numerous injuries for both of these guys kind of derailed their careers. I think Monfils is back up into the top 50. Thiem is not. He's got a long ways to go. Carbelis Baena going to take on Pablo Carreno Busta, talking about 2 clay court specialists there. Carreno Busta, he's had just 8 matches since the 2023 Australian Open. He had a bad right elbow injury, I guess. He's had some success on grass in the past, so let's see how this works out. Roberto Bautista Agut will take on Taro Daniel. And finally, we've got Hugo Humbert, the number 2 seed, getting a bye. So let's go back to the top half and look at our first results here. Ben Shelton, of course, getting the bye. Luca Nardi gets past Rinky Hijikata in 3 sets. Qualifier, of course, moves on to the second round to face Yannick Hanfmann, who gets past Jordan Thompson 6-3, 3-6, 6-3. Thompson's another one I wouldn't expect to see. Looks like he hurt his back today playing against Musetti in the semis. I wouldn't be surprised to see Thompson. And honestly, if he does make it, I wouldn't be surprised to see him lose to Hanfmann because he had a long week there. So, second quarter, we got Manarino going through on a bye. Alex Michelsen, the American, gets through Nuno Borges in straight sets. Sebastian Offner over Jaume Munar, 7-6, 7-5. And Luciano Darderi, the number 5 seed, over Pedro Martinez in straight sets. Starting with the bottom half here, Christopher Eubanks loses. Jacob Mensik, the youngster, going to beat. He's got a big serve. That'd be it's going to be a fun match there. Both of those guys have big serves. I think Mensik probably a little bit better of a serve. He's able to take out the 2023 winner Eubanks. Fabio Fognini, of course, gets by with the qualifier. Shevchenko gets past the qualifier, and Alejandro Tobio had the bye. So moving to the last quarter, Dominic Thiem over Gael Monfils in 3 sets. Pablo Carreno Busta over Carbelis Baena in 3 sets. So that'll be another interesting matchup of 2 guys that have dealt with some serious injuries. Finally, we got Roberto Bautista Agut taking on Taro Daniel, and Bautista Agut gets through in 3 sets. And Hugo Humbert, the number 2 seed, makes it to the second round, obviously, with the bye. So, back to the top half. Let's start with that second round and see what we've got. Ben Shelton, the number 1 seed, past Luca Nardi in 3 sets. Yannick Hanfmann, of course, had the qualifier, so we'll put him through. Alex Michelsen, the American, knocks off Adrian Manarino in straight sets, looks like. And Sebastian Offner, 6-2, 6-0 over Darderi. Darderi, more of a clay court guy, too, so that wouldn't be terribly surprising to me. In the bottom half, we've got Jacob Mensik, 18 years old. He's the youngest player in the top 100. He's the youngest player in the top 200. I think he's the only 18-year-old in the top 200, there may be one other, but 18 years old, number 85 player in the world. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He takes out Fognini here, and he'll take on Alejandro Tobio, the number 4 seed, who got past Shevchenko in 3 sets. Dominic Thiem into the quarterfinals, knocking out Carreno Busta in straight sets. And Hugo Humbert, the number 2 seed, in 3 sets over the Spaniard Bautista Agut. Back to the top we go, and it's Ben Shelton into the semifinals. The number 1 seed gets past Yannick Hanfmann in 3 sets. Sebastian Offner takes 3 sets to get past Alex Michelsen. And on the bottom half, Jacob Mensik again. 6-1, 6-2 domination of Alejandro Tobio there, and Dominic Thiem into the semis. That's an upset there. 7-6, 6-3 over Humbert. That's a big upset. That's a big surprise. Humbert won Holly in 2021. I think Humbert's 2-0 in the head-to-heads and straight sets. This is the kind of result you see on a weekly basis, and we're always shocked when we see it. Nobody's predicting this kind of stuff, but nobody has a 100% chance of winning on any given day. So these kind of things can happen, as surprising as they seem on the surface. Our semifinal matchups will be Ben Shelton against Sebastian Offner, and we will have Jacob Mensik taking on Dominic Thiem. So this is going to be another really, really interesting final. Let's take a look at the results. It's going to be Sebastian Offner against Dominic Thiem. Offner takes out Shelton in 3 sets. Dominic Thiem takes out Jacob Mensik in straight sets. So little Thiem resurgence right before Wimbledon. We've got 2 Austrians in the finals here in Mallorca. Looking at the head-to-head, these guys, Thiem leads 3-2. Surprisingly, two of the 3 times that these guys have met since 2022, Thiem has won. So I think Offner looks like he won the most recent one in Astana in 2023. That was an indoor hard court. So let's take a look at what happens here. We've got set number 1 going to Sebastian Offner, 7-6, takes it to a tiebreaker. And the second set, let's see, Sebastian Offner is going to win it in straight sets, 7-6, 7-5 over Dominic Thiem. Congratulations to the Austrian and the Austrian runner-up. That would be, I like Dominic Thiem. I would like to see that result happen. That'd be cool to see him kind of get back into the mix here. All right, let's take it over to the women's side. We'll go back to Eastbourne. Look at the 2024 Rothesay International in Eastbourne. Rebekina, the number 1 seed, is going to get a bye. She did withdraw this past week, retired a few games into her match, I believe, on Thursday. So another one that I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't show up here. So anyways, in this simulation, she'll take on the winner, Harriet Dart and Marie Buskova. We've got 2 qualifiers playing in the 3rd match, and the 4th match will be Leylah Fernandez against the number 8 seed, Barbara Krejcikova. That'll be a really good first round matchup there. Madison Keys, this will be her first grass match of the season, the 2023 winner here at Eastbourne. She's the number 4 seed and gets a bye to the 2nd round. Sorana Cîrstea gets a bye in the simulation by playing another qualifier against Carolina Muchova. So we'll move Muchova to the 2nd round to take on the winner of Ayla Tomljanovic and Pavlyuchenkova. Pavlyuchenkova is the number 8 seed. Tomljanovic looks good lately. She dealt with a ton of injuries in 2023. I think the beginning of this year she had a tumor. It was a non-cancerous tumor removed from her uterus after the Australian Open. But grass court season, she's rolling. She made the finals in Birmingham. So, she's another one. She may not actually play here when all is said and done. We'll have to see. Going to the bottom half, Jillian Ostapenko, the number 5 seed, taking on a qualifier. Katie Bolter, who's had a really good grass court season as well, will be taking on a qualifier. Miyazaki will take on Elise Mertens, and Jasmine Paolini gets the bye as the number 3 seed. We haven't seen her since the French Open finals, so she's not played on grass yet this season. Daria Kasatkina, the number 6 seed, taking on Xinyu Wang. Yu Yuan against Anastasia Potapova, and Sloane Stevens against Emma Raducanu. Raducanu's still trying to come back to form. She made it to the semis in Nottingham, lost to Katie Bolter there. So she's trying to ramp it up here before Wimbledon. And Jessica Pegula, the number 2 seed, will be the bye. Another one that I would not be surprised at all if she drops. She will be playing she'll be playing tomorrow. Not sure if she'll be playing in the finals yet. She is locked in a second set tiebreak with Coco Gauff. At the moment, she is up 1-0. Play was suspended, though, so they'll resume tomorrow. If Pegula does end up winning that match, she's going to play the final on the same day. I wouldn't be surprised to see her drop from this tournament. But we're going to leave her in. Let's see what happens here. Some results here from the top half. Rybakina, of course, goes through as the number 1 seed with the bye. Marie Bouskova gets by Harriet Dart in 3 sets. We've got a qualifier there in the third match. And Barbara Krejcikova, the number 8 seed, in straight sets over Leylah Fernandez. Madison Keys gets through with the bye. She'll take on Sorana Cîrstea, who got through a qualifier. Karolina Muchova also played a qualifier. And she'll take on Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, the number 8 seed. 6-3, 6-4 over Tomljanovic there. Moving to the bottom half, and let's take a look at these results. Ostapenko, the number 5 seed, passed the qualifier. She's been struggling. She's been struggling a lot here. She'll take on Katie Bolter the next round, who also got through against the qualifier. Bolter won in Nottingham the past 2 years, so she's got good results on grass courts. And that'll be an interesting match, a tough match for Ostapenko for sure. Elise Mertens, 6-2, 6-4 over Miyazaki, and she'll take on Jasmine Paolini, the number 3 seed in the second round. Next quarter, Xinyu Wang beats the 2023 runner-up Daria Kasatkina. So Kasatkina out. Wang will take on Potapova, wins in 3 sets against Yu Yuan. And Sloane Stephens, the former U.S. Open winner, former French Open finalist, Aussie Open semis, Wimbledon quarters. Long history there with Stephens. She takes out Raducanu, much to the dismay of the home crowd there. And we'll have Stephens taking on Jessica Pegula, the number 2 seed, in the second round. We'll go back to the top half. Well, here's a stunner. 22 Wimbledon winner, Elena Rybakina, is out to Marie Bouskova. That's another stunning upset. But, listen, Bouskova made the 4th round at Wimbledon last summer. She's really, really good returner. So I think if there is someone out there that can neutralize the Rybakina serve, Bouskova would be a candidate to do that. So we've seen stranger things happen. Bouskova into the quarterfinals. She'll take on Barbara Krejcikova, who gets through as the number 8 seed. Krejcikova had a qualifier there in the second round. Madison Keys, the number 4 seed, moves on in 3 sets over Sorana Cîrstea. And Karolina Muchova, 6-4, 6-2 over Pavlyuchenkova, the number 8 seed. So 2 of 4 seeds are out heading into the quarterfinals here in the top half. Looking at the bottom half, Katie Bolter. It doesn't surprise me at all to see Jelena Ostapenko out at the hands of Katie Bolter. I think on grass, Bolter would be a pretty strong favorite there. Elise Mertens, 6-4, 5-7, 6-2 over Jasmine Paolini. Anastasia Potapova in 3 sets over Xinyu Wang. And she'll take on Sloane Stephens, who got past Pegula in straight sets, 7-5, 6-1. So, Pegula has had a long week, so fatigue's definitely going to be a factor there. Stephens is on to the quarterfinals. Moving back up to the top half, Krejcikova over Bouskova in straight sets, the number 8 seed. Krejcikova will take on Madison Keys, the number 4 seed, who also in straight sets gets by Karolina Muchova. And the bottom half, Katie Bolter over Elise Mertens in straights, and Anastasia Potapova in straight sets over Sloane Stephens. So our semifinal matchup here in Eastbourne will be Barbara Krejcikova, the number 8 seed, against the number 4 seed Madison Keys, and a couple unseeded players, Katie Bolter and Anastasia Potapova, in the other semifinal. The results are in. Madison Keys. Madison Keys wins over Krejcikova 7-6, 7-5. Krejcikova is such a good all-around player. The head-to-head between Keys and Krejcikova is 1-1. So I think that match could go either way. Keys wins it here, and she'll take on Anastasia Potapova, knocks out Katie Bolter 7-5, 7-6. So it'll be Keys versus Potapova. Keys, the 2023 winner here in Eastbourne, looking to repeat. First set goes to Madison Keys, 6-4. Let's see if Potapova can tie it up. Nope. Madison Keys going to win in straight sets, 6-4, 7-6. She's going to be back-to-back winner at Eastbourne. All right, we're moving on to the final tournament of the week in Bad Homburg, Germany. Let's take a look. Number 1 seed is going to be Maria Sakkari. She'll take on Elisabetta Cocciarato in the first round. There's no buys in this tournament, so 32 players. Arantxa Rus will take on Paula Badosa. Angelique Kerber against Diana Schneider. Diana Yastremska taking on the 17-year-old Mira Andreeva. Emma Navarro kicks off the second quarter as the number 3 seed against Jacqueline Adina Christian. Peyton Stearns takes on Yulia Putintseva. Diane Perry takes on Veronika Kudermetova. And another throwback match here. We've got Caroline Wozniacki and Alina Svitolina. I think they were number 3 and number 4 rankings in 2018. So let's go to the bottom half. Victoria Azarenka, the number 5 seed, maybe won't show up. She lost today to Kalinskaya in the semis in Berlin. So we'll see if she's there. She's the number 5 seed against Linda Noskova. Victoria Tomova against Tatiana Maria. Bianca Andreescu in her comeback looks really, really good. She's going to take on Anna Blinkova, while Anna Kalinskaya will take on the number 4 seed, Beatriz Haddad Maia. Kalinskaya is going to play the final tomorrow in Berlin. So another one that I'm not sure will be here. It's going to be a weird week, I think, with last-minute withdrawals. The final quarter here is going to be Ekaterina Alexandrova, the number 6 seed, taking on Nadia Podoroska. Donna Vekic will take on Lucia Bronzetti, the runner-up here last year. Katerina Siniakova, who was the winner here last year, will take on Clara Burrell. And to finish it up, Sarah Sorribes Tormo taking on the number 1 seed, Lyudmila Samsonova. Let's get our first results here in the top half. It's going to be Maria Sakkari, the number 1 seed, getting past Cocciaretta in 3 sets. Sakkari, she lost in the first round in Berlin. It was a tough draw for her getting Azarenka. She also lost in the first round of Wimbledon last year. She got Kostyuk. She's had some tough draws. I don't think she's as bad of a player as those results would lead on. She had a good hard court season. I think she made the finals in Indian Wells. She's on to round 2. She'll take on Paula Badosa, who beats Arantxa Rus in straight sets. Diana Schneider over Angelique Kerber in 3 sets. Andreeva into the top 25 after the French Open semis. She reached the 4th round at Wimbledon last summer, so she can clearly play on grass. This is her first grass court tournament of the season. She's on to the second round over Yastremska in straight sets. Moving to the second quarter, we've got Jacqueline Christian in our first upset here, taking out number 3 seed Emma Navarro. That would definitely be a surprise, I think. Navarro reached the semis here in Bad Homburg last year, so she's out in round 1. Yulia Putintseva in straight sets over Peyton Stearns, 6-2, 6-3. Diane Perry wins in 3 sets here against Kudermetova. I love watching Diane Perry play on grass. She's got that backhand slice that just seems perfect for this surface. So she's by Kudermetova. And Elina Svitolina, the number 7 seed, over Wozniacki in 3 sets. Let's go to the bottom half. Finish this first round, Azarenka beats Noskova in the first round in 3 sets. Tatiana Maria beats Tomova in 3 sets in the first round. So the second round matchup will be Azarenka and Maria. Bianca Andreescu has been playing really, really well here in her comeback. She had some awful injuries. She's the number 5 back in 2019. She was in the finals in Den Bosch last week. So that was her second tournament since August 2023. And she finaled. So she's in good form. She's dealt with some bad injuries, though. But she gets through here against Blinkova, and she'll take on Kalinskaya, who's having a really good run on grass this season. She gets by Haddad Maia, the number 4 seed, in 3 sets. And then moving to the final quarter, we got Katerina Alexandrova, the number 6 seed, in 3 sets over Podoroska. Lucia Bronzetti in straight sets over Donna Vekic. Clara Burrell in 3 sets over last year's champion, Katerina Siniakova. And the number 2 seed, Samsonova, gets past Sorribes Tormo in 2 sets. Let's get back to the top half. Maria Sakkari kicks things off by taking out Paula Badosa in straight sets. Mira Andreeva, straight set win over Diana Schneider. Christian to the quarterfinals here over Putintseva. Christian in 3 sets. That's another surprising result. And Svitolina, the number 7 seed, takes on Diane Parry. Svitolina gets past her in 3 sets. Moving to the bottom half, close out this second round. Victoria Azarenka, the number 5 seed, over Tatjana Maria, 6-3, 6-3. Kalinskaya continues her run, getting past Andreescu in 3 sets. Lucia Bronzetti, the runner-up here last year, getting past Alexandrova in 3 sets. And Lyudmila Samsonova, number 2 seed, is going to take out Clara Burrell, 7-6, 7-6. Back to the top we go. Quarterfinal action. Mira Andreeva takes out Maria Sakkari. So the number 8 seed is into the semis. Christian's run is over. She's going to lose to Svitolina here in straight sets. And the bottom half, Victoria Azarenka, 6-3, 6-4 win over Kalinskaya. That's a rematch of today's semifinal in Berlin, which Kalinskaya won. Azarenka takes this one. And Samsonova, the number 2 seed, over last year's runner-up Bronzetti, 7-5, 7-5. That sets up the semis. It's going to be Alina Svitolina, the number 7 seed, taking on the number 8 seed, Mira Andreeva, the 17-year-old, into the semis in her first grass court tourney of the year. Victoria Azarenka, in the other semi, the number 5 seed, will take on the number 2 seed, Lyudmila Samsonova. Azarenka is 1-1 in head-to-head against Samsonova, so they actually played here in Berlin in 2021 in the semis. So this is a rematch of the 2021 semis. Samsonova won here over Azarenka in that one. Let's take a look at the results of this semi. We've got Alina Svitolina getting past Andreeva, 7-5, 6-3. And Victoria Azarenka, the number 5 seed, taking out Samsonova, 6-2, 3-6, 6-4. So it's going to be Svitolina and Azarenka. Long history with these two. Azarenka leads the head-to-head 5-2. But Svitolina won the last 2, including last year at Wimbledon. So looks like she may have the edge. Let's see how it plays out. Azarenka wins the first set 6-4. And she does not close it out. Set 2 goes to Svitolina, 6-4. So this is going to go to the decider, and it will go to Victoria Azarenka. Victorious, 6-2 in the third set. So she takes out Svitolina 6-4, 4-6, 6-2. And that'll wrap up our 4 tournaments for this week. Episode 1, let me know how I did. Don't be too harsh on me, but any kind of feedback you can give me would be greatly appreciated. Next week is Wimbledon. Really excited for Wimbledon because I'm going to Wimbledon for the first time ever. Took the tour a few years ago. We're headed there. We're going to go to the queue and camp out on Sunday night, try and get some decent tickets for day 1. And my wife and I, we already picked up tickets for court number 1 on day 2. So we're going to go for the first couple of days, pretty much be able to see everybody first couple of days. So that'll be fun. I'm excited. The draw is Friday. I'll be traveling Saturday. So the podcast may be up a little bit earlier than this next week. But, you know, you'll get the notification here if you sign up and subscribe to the channel. And once again, brand new podcast, no sponsors, so I'm going to kind of promote myself here for a second and tell you that the TennisTips.com is where you can find all of my tennis betting, player prop, and DFS advice in one spot. The Dub Club platform we're on makes it easy to get notified every time I post new tips, leveraging all the same data and statistical modeling used for the Sunday Sims into making informed tennis bets and player prop picks. With the VIP All Access package, you'll get weekly outrights and future bets, my daily moneyline best bets, player prop cards for sites like Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy, and a daily DFS Core 4 for those of you that play on DraftKings. Subscribe now at thetennisttips.com. Use promo code SundaySims for 20% off the VIP All Access package. Let's have some fun, win some money, and help support the Sunday Sims podcast at thetennisttips.com. That's going to do it for me. Episode 1 is a wrap. We'll see you next week to break down the men's and the women's draws at Wimbledon. Take care, y'all.